Hello, thank you for checking out this brief but hopefully informative look at World of Warcraft on the Dell Inspiron MIni 910 netbook. You can see the 910 in front of me right here. This is the relatively high-end model that I purchased from Dell. This has a 1.6 gigahertz Atom N270 CPU, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and a 16 gigabyte SSD hard drive. I guess that's technically wrong. It's just a solid state drive, not technically a hard drive. However you want to think about it, it's fine by me though. This has a 1024 by 600 pixel display, and I'm going to briefly here show you how World of Warcraft performs on this. Now, if you checked out my blog, which you most likely came from, you can see the text right up there of how I did this. First of all, this computer has no optical drive, so I created ISOs of the World of Warcraft CDs and installed it natively on this machine. Now, technically it's not installed here. World of Warcraft is installed right here on a 20 gigabyte external hard drive that I put together a couple of years ago. Runs over USB 2.0, plugs into the Mini, and I installed entirely without any physical media in this case. This was just more of a convenience for myself, but if you feel so inclined, you can purchase an external drive like I have there and install that way too. Now, I highly recommend installing World of Warcraft on an external drive because the 16 gig SSD drive on the Mini 9 probably can't handle the game and all of its updates at once. On more than one occasion I've had World of Warcraft complain during installation that there's not enough hard drive space available. So the external drive is definitely recommended. I'm going to shut up and fire World of Warcraft up. I don't know how your video is going to look here. Alright. That's a glossy screen. Somewhat of a downside, but definitely crisp. Here we are at the World of Warcraft login screen. This is running at 800 by 600 pixels with all detail settings on low. And so far so good. Menu screen seems to run pretty fine, and I hope it would. Let me put in my password here. Once again, this is on an external drive running over USB 2.0. You can see load times I think are par for the course for World of Warcraft. As I mentioned in my blog, you're going to see about 10 to 30 frames per second average with this, depending on where you are in the game. You'll see that I have the game set at 800 by 600 again. It is cropped on both sides of the screen here. You can run it at the native 1024 by 600, but that's going to cost you about 5 to 10 frames per second in performance. So I don't mind playing with the crop, and I think the game looks extremely crisp on this monitor. This LCD screen is very crisp, even with details on low. You certainly can't tell from the video, but here I am in Elwyn Forest, just outside of Stormwind. This is a region, I'm going to flip on my frames per second counter there. This is a region of the game that's fairly populated at most times, so I think this is par for the course for World of Warcraft on the Mini. I'm getting right now about 13 to 14 to 15 frames per second. Oh, that glare is awful. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to play with it here. Hold on. Oh, even better. Kill the lights. Okay, here we have World of Warcraft. Performance is decent. I mean, 15 frames per second average, I would say. Once again, this is in a fairly populated zone. Right now I'm doing about 12. I think for short quests, checking your auction house, and other small tasks, you can get by just fine. Having to lug around an external drive is definitely a bummer. If you have the ability to, I would certainly recommend that you install World of Warcraft on an SD card and pop it in the Dell Mini. That would probably work just as well and save you one thing from having to be carried around. But overall, I think performance is really good. I wish I could get a better shot with this here for you. My cheap little cam. I'm going to go into Stormwind City here in a minute and show you the what really kills the frame rate. Even with, like I said before, even with details on low, the game looks decent. It's not going to be your main machine for World of Warcraft. I definitely would not recommend this to be a main machine for World of Warcraft. But once again, for the portability the Mini offers, if you have an SD card or a small external drive, by all means, it's worth installing. It's worth playing just to see how it works. And like I said, I think it runs just fine for short play sessions. Right now I'm down to about 12 frames per second. Still playable. I still have control over the game. The cursor never gets laggy. It's strictly graphics bottleneck with the GPU. It's an Intel integrated graphics processor that's running this, and it's definitely underpowered, but CPU, memory, hard drive, all that's well above the World of Warcraft minimum system requirements. This is where the game definitely stutters. Populated areas like Stormwind, that can kind of be a bummer. But like I said before, when you're in a unpopulated area such as outskirts of Mulgore, Desolace, any of these lesser populated zones, you're going to see frame rates definitely in the 20 to 30 frames per second range, and the game's more than obviously playable there. It's absolutely beautiful, to be honest with you, for a machine this small. Well, there's a quick look at World of Warcraft on the Mini 9. It's certainly possible, and I hope this has helped anybody get an idea of what you can do. I would definitely recommend this for hardcore WoW players who have a netbook similar to the Mini 9. It does the job just fine, for quick play sessions anyway. If you have any questions, you can reach me via my blog. If you're on YouTube, you can go to brandonbruno.com. That's BRANDONBRUNO, all one word, .com, and get a hold of me there if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.